All right, so I just recently purchased a Suzuki SV650 from a buddy at work. Uh, he had this thing, he had it for quite a while. It's a two-owner bike, and he got rid of it because he'd obviously been having too much fun, and so the tire's flat. And when the tire went flat, he parked it in his garage. It got locked in the back of the garage, putting other stuff in front of it, just waiting for him to put a tire on it. And, fast forward 6 years later, and here we are. So, obviously, the bike most likely wouldn't crank even if I tried right now. And, of course, I know better than to try, and I appreciate the fact that he knew better than to try as well, because obviously with the bike sitting that long, we're going to probably have some rust issues in the gas tank, which means we'll have some rust issues in the fuel lines, and if we were to try and crank this right now, we would just absolutely destroy the carburetors. So the first thing I'm going to do is take these seats off, take that tank off. Well, before I take the tank off, I'm going to look inside the tank, see what it looks like. But then once we get the tank off, we'll take the carburetors off. I've got a rebuild kit. We're going to rebuild the carburetors. We're going to clean out the inside of that tank. I'm sure there's going to be something in there that don't belong. And once we get all of that done, we're going to put it back together and see if it'll run. Now, once I find out if it'll run or not, which it should. I mean, he's a very trustworthy guy. I know that when he says he actually parked it in his garage running because of the flat tire on the rear, I believe it 100%. So we're just going to make sure it runs, and then once we find out that it does run, then I'm going to buy 2 new tires for it, and we'll have it on the road. So we're going to get started. Like I say, this thing's been sitting for about 6 years, so we're going to give it a good once-over. All the way around. We're going to look at the clutch. We're going to make sure all that operates well. We're going to look at the brakes, make sure they're good and they operate well. We'll give the whole thing a good once over. But the main thing will be cleaning out that tank and rebuilding the carburetors. Okay. So first thing I want to do is look inside this tank and see, what we've got going on in here to deal with. Keep in mind this gas tank hadn't been opened in 6 or 7 years either. So, okay, we've got some pretty good resistance against the key. I'm not going to force the issue. I'm just going to kind of jiggle it back and forth until I can get it to spin over. Then we'll go from there. See, it's moving a little. Okay. Pretty good amount of resistance there. So what I'm going to do is hold some tension on the key. Then I'm going to take a very small tip flat screwdriver and kind of try and help coax this along as well. There we go. Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Let me bring you in. Okay, so you can see that's pretty bad. It is still actuating, so we can still use this. I did go ahead and buy a new gas cap just in case. Really wasn't expecting it to be that bad, but let's see if we can get down here. That's not looking good. Oh yeah, no, that's not good. Okay, so we've definitely got an issue inside the tank, no doubt. So we're gonna have to clean this out real good. We'll remove it, and we'll put a solution in there to soak it in. All right, so the next thing I want to do with this is I want to get this rear seat off. just to get it out of the way, kind of look and see what's up underneath it. He did say that some rats had moved in, which, I mean, you know, when something sits for 6 years in a garage, that makes sense. Now, to remove this rear seat, it's actually really simple. There we are. You just take your ignition key and put it right in there and turn it, and that's supposed to unlock it. Can I do this with one hand? There we go. Okay. All right, so you just pull up on the front and then pull out, and that's how you take the rear seat off. Yeah, he said he had kind of somewhat cleaned it out, and so we definitely got a lot of cleaning to do in there. Now, the next thing is going to be to take the front seat off. And this has one screw here, there's another screw on the other side, and then there's some ball sockets here that you just pull out and they'll unlatch. So we'll go ahead and take these off now. Okay, so instead of the ball sockets, that's the older, or the newer generation, sorry. So instead of the ball sockets on the sides, or kind of more catty-cornered, you actually have another screw up here, and you just pull this down. See that screw right there? So this one just pulls straight down. This one is this is a 2002, so this is not the one that has the ball sockets. Okay, so this is not the one that has the ball sockets. This is the one that's got the, I apologize for that. This is the 2002. So it's just got this clip that slides up underneath the seat. I'll show you when we remove the seat. So it's just a one screw, and then this will slide down. So when you remove that panel, you'll see this screw. There'll be one on each side. That's the screw that you need to remove in order to get the seat off. Okay, so I removed the cover on this other side here, and when I removed the cover, I realized that this top bolt is different. This is an Allen head, not a Phillips head. So I don't know, I'm guessing someone's been in here before and changed some of these bolts. So I'm going to find the Allen head for this and come back and we'll get this side off. Okay, we got that Allen head and screw out, so now we should be able to just lift up. There we go. Pull out. There we go. Not what I wanted to find, obviously. We know we got a lot of cleaning to do, but anyway, there we go. Seats off. Now, like I say, even though this thing has sat for about 6 years, it did sit inside of a garage, but that garage was hit by a tree that fell, and so the roof and the wall was messed up. So it was not you know, airtight. I can see some corroded things already, aside from dirty things, and you know, some rats have been in here, so we'll have to take a real good look at wiring and things like that. This is definitely going to be a will it run. We'll have to go through it thoroughly,